What's going on, guys? The Film Fan Reviews. My name is Stephen Barton II, and today we're talking about the new Quentin Tarantino film, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Now, that film stars Leonardo DiCaprio, Brad Pitt, and Margot Robbie. Now, me being in film school and also just being a massive fan of films and cinema in general, Quentin Tarantino is obviously a huge inspiration for just about everyone in film school. And he's the most talked about director, and he is definitely one of my favorite directors, and this film was highly anticipated for me. It was like Endgame and this were definitely my highest anticipated movies of 2019, and I can tell you right off the bat, did not disappoint in the least bit. Now, is it my favorite Tarantino film? No. And I'm actually going to do a ranking of my favorite Tarantino films in a video sometime soon. I'm going to record it and hopefully get it out as soon as possible, but it'll be in there, and I think people might be a little bit surprised by that ranking, so definitely check that out once it comes out. But right off the bat, the thing that got me the most with this movie is the set decoration and art design of this movie. They really captured that late 60s feel, especially of the Hollywood area, with all the different products that they were using. Just everything just felt very of the time period, and it worked so well and definitely brought the audience into the movie, which sometimes people struggle with. It's not a thing that Tarantino struggles with too much, but he definitely gets the right people around him to just elevate his films to that nth degree, I should say. Now, obviously, with Tarantino, his casting is definitely a process where he tries to find the very best person to fit in his characters that he writes. And with this movie, 100% did that top notch. Brad Pitt and Leonardo DiCaprio together was phenomenal. They just complemented each other so well, and they just felt like they'd been friends for years. And it just worked, and they were definitely one of the best parts of the movie. And Margot Robbie playing Sharon Tate. When I first heard that Sharon Tate and the Manson stuff was going to be in this movie, it made me a little bit nervous. Quentin Tarantino has a track record of doing things a little bit crazy and off the wall, which he definitely does in this movie. But he definitely was respectful of that tragedy and didn't try to romanticize it or anything like that. I'm not going to say what happens in the movie because I'd rather you just see for yourself if you haven't already. But he does it so well and so respectful that it really relieved what I was feeling going into the movie. Now, another thing with Quentin Tarantino movies is that the story always has to be well crafted, and it definitely was in this movie too. It flows so well, and I'll attribute that to the editing as well. The movie flows so well that, honestly, once I felt like we were at a spot where I was like, I wonder how long I've been watching this. We were already almost done with a 2 hour and 40 plus minute movie. I was really surprised by just the way it flowed and everything like that. I didn't get bored, I didn't lose interest. Along with that art, I think, it just kept me invested, and I wanted to see more and more. Like, I honestly probably could have watched a 3-hour cut of this movie and been just fine. But at the same time, could there have been a few things cut out? Maybe. But I don't want to see a cut up Quentin Tarantino movie. I'd just rather see as much as possible, in my opinion. But the editing worked so well. And along with that, the cinematography. I believe it's Robert Richardson is the cinematographer that works with Tarantino on all of his stuff. So awesome. The shots mixed in with like the retro shows that would have been on the little TVs back in the late 60s, early 70s. The way he shot stuff like that, as well as mixed it in with using the cameras as the actual cameras in the shows and films that they were filming, was so cool in my opinion. Being an aspiring filmmaker and everything like that, that was just so cool to see. And just the way he got all these shots, it really just brought the feeling into of being in Hollywood and seeing kind of the behind the scenes stuff that was really cool. Now, one thing that was talked about in the theater, I can already probably assume, and a lot on the internet, in the past too, Tarantino has an obsession with feet. I'll just say it right now. And in this movie, it happens way more often than I've ever noticed in any of his other movies. All the female characters, it's just really weird. There'd be just shots of feet, and it's a little bit awkward and a little bit weird, but I guess just do your thing, Quentin, because you've gotten away with it so far. And you just do you, I guess. But yeah, that was a little bit strange in my opinion. But yeah, I mean, I've talked about everything I've written down so far, so I'm just going to riff a little bit. I thoroughly enjoyed this movie. I can see people not liking it as much, and if you're nervous about the real tragedy of Sharon Tate and everything like that, I still say give this movie a chance, and I think it was handled quite well in my opinion. Others may differ. I've seen other opinions online, but I think it was handled quite well and respectively. And just overall, if you like Tarantino and everything like that, this is a movie for you then. And if you're a fan of Hollywood, this is a movie for you. One thing I forgot to mention and I forgot to write down, the guy who plays Bruce Lee in this movie did a phenomenal job. To the point where, like, it's obviously not Bruce Lee. But the moments he was in the film talking and his mannerisms and everything like that, it gave me goosebumps all down my arms and down my legs, for real. Because it was just so good. Granted, he was only in the movie for maybe like 5 minutes of screen time at most. I think that was a perfect casting by Tarantino, and I absolutely loved the moments that he was in it. Now, I hope other people feel that way too. I'm not sure. I'd like to talk to people about it. Comment if you've seen it and want to talk about anything in this movie, to be honest, but especially that. I'd love to talk. I love this movie. On my rating scale, at a five-star rating scale, it's a 5. All Tarantino movies, for the most part, are a 5 for me. This movie works so well on a directing standpoint, acting, writing, art, shots, editing, cinematography. All of it is just damn near perfect, in my opinion. And as I said, I highly recommend, if you're a fan of even that time era of the late 60s and everything like that, I would also recommend it to you. There's a lot of different things that they do, like the Western stuff in the movie. It's all really cool and just a blast to watch, in my opinion. So if you're a fan of any of that stuff, definitely check this movie out. And that's it for today. So please like the video, comment your thoughts. Like I said earlier, I'd love to talk about this movie. Please share the video. In any way you can support me, I just love it so much. And subscribe to the channel, obviously. Hit that notification bell. Read my old reviews at thefilmfanreviews.blogspot.com. I actually wrote some older Quentin Tarantino. I think I wrote, my first review was Reservoir Dogs. And so it's not a very good review probably, but you can check that out on there as well. And overall, guys, just thanks for watching.